Hey guys, what's going on? This is Kyle at Projection, and today I'm going to be talking about what are 5 key ways to make your startup business plan shine. So I'm talking from taking a good business plan to one that a lender is going to want to say yes to and approve you for the financing. So before we jump into that, a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Kyle, and I've been with Projection for a few years now. We've helped over 50,000 small businesses create financial projections for their business plans, their loan applications, you name it. And before that, I was actually an SBA loan officer for almost 7 years. And so during my time there, I got to work with hundreds of different startups and businesses, walk them through the loan application process, review their business plans, review their financial projections, put together a loan package, take them through the underwriting process, and all of that. So that's the perspective I'm bringing when it comes to giving these 5 key tips to take a business plan from good to great. The business plans that I saw that I thought were lackluster to the business plans that I wanted to give financing to. And so we're going to go and do that now. So if at any point you like this video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to our channel. That really helps us as a fellow small business. And if you have any questions, comment down below or even just email us at support@projectionhub.com or live chat with our team. If you have questions about your business plan, your startup business, we would be happy to help you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so let's get into this. How do we make a business plan, a startup business plan, go from zero to hero? How do we make it shine? I'm going to use an example business plan. So right now I've got our free spa and wellness center business plan template. So you can see it's a full example business plan template. I'll just go ahead and link this down below. We've got all of these are free business plan templates. So I think we've got 60-ish maybe now, maybe even more, that you can grab a template just like this one I'm using. And so as you can see inside our free business plan templates, we have these key points listed and then a few examples of how to do them. So if you want, you can go find your specific video about your specific industry that we might have it. And I do this kind of similar thing, except I go through the whole business plan and talk about each key point. So feel free to do that as well. But in this video, we're just going to hit these 5 key points straight away in general for any startup business. And so first key point, and this is for context, this is in the market analysis section of the business plan. We want to provide specific examples of local research to demonstrate there is in fact room in the market for our business. Okay, so the whole business plan is important and lots of minimum requirements include that. But these key points are kind of like the things that people don't really do in their business plan that are really low-hanging fruit to make it much better. And so you can see some examples here of, basically doing market research. So you can do surveys, you could hire someone to do market research. But one little trick that I like to do when I'm writing business plans and in business plans that I have seen is we're basically going to do like a competitor analysis and a keyword search trend analysis. And we're going to mash those two together, and then what you find in that process is what you want to talk about in your business plan. Okay, so let's do an example. So I live in the Indianapolis area, and to the northeast of Indianapolis, there's a suburb called Fishers, and it's just kind of like an affluent area, right? So first off, let's say that's where I'm going to start my spa. I'm going to do something simple like spa near me. Also, if you are living near your target area to like open your spa or your business or whatever. Now, obviously doing this example is going to work a little bit better for like a retail business that actually has a location, but you can apply this same concept to digital, right? Like you may not have a physical map to look at, but you're still going to be talking about your competitors. So whatever research you need to do to find your competitors. If you're an e-commerce website, if you're a SaaS software, it's still just Googling, right? And finding what other things most directly are going to compete with you. And then you want to do a quick analysis of the 3 to 5 most direct competitors. So those might be the closest to you physically. That might be the closest offering to whatever your business offers or whatever your SaaS tool does. So you want to list the 3 to 5 closest ones. There might be more than that, but you still need to pick. This is to keep in mind, putting this in your business plan. So you don't want to list 100 competitors. Hopefully you don't have 100 competitors in your business plan. And then you want to list what do they do well? So what are their strengths? What is their specialty? What are they really good at? So talk about that. Maybe they're the longest in the tooth, maybe they've been around the longest, maybe that's their strength, they're well known, maybe they have fancy new technology, maybe, whatever it is in your arena, talk about what their strength is, and then talk about what their weakness is. So, their weakness, think about that as like an opportunity for you to do something better. So that's how I want you to think about weakness, not just like, I just don't think they do a good job at that, but think about it in a way that's like, this is something they're missing out on that I think we can capture some of the business from. So, using our spa example, maybe this Woodhouse spa has been around the longest, for example, and their strength is they have a loyal customer base and they've just been around for a long time. Maybe they have a premium location. Maybe their weakness is they've gotten a little comfortable being the old dog in town and they have terrible reviews, right? Maybe their experience is bad. Maybe they have bad reviews. And so talk about that in the business plan. So it's not a stone throwing practice. It's a opportunity identifying practice. Okay, so you're going to do that 3 to 5 of the most direct competitors for your specific industry. Again, if that's an online based business, just do research and find who those people are, same activity. Then I'm going to go over and use a tool like Google AdWords keyword planning tool. So you can create a free Google AdWords account and you can basically simulate how often are people searching for certain things on Google. Okay, so that's really what we're doing. So to continue our spa example, I've set the location. I want to see how often are people searching these things in Fishers, Indiana. So I put in spa near me, med spa near me, Botox near me, massage near me, and the location. And this tool is going to do some really interesting things. One, it's going to provide other related keywords I might not have thought of. So I can see like, are there some things people are searching for that I hadn't considered offering or being a specialty of that? We can see how often are people just searching that in general. So you can see seasonality. You can just see pure volume. You can see how competitive is the advertising for that, and then the typical cost to advertise for that. But the most important thing this tool does is the trend data. I care a little bit less about the 3-month change. I care a whole lot about year-over-year change. So this is how much are people searching for these terms in comparison to a year ago. And so we can see manicure near me, massage near me, massotherapy near me, spa near me, spa close by, and you can see plus 53%, plus 30%, plus 30%, plus 88%. So what this is doing is telling me in my target area, there is a growing interest, growing demand for these services. People are looking for these things, new customers. Someone wouldn't search this if they knew where they wanted to get a massage, right? So they're exploring their options. So we do competitor research. We see who's the game in town, and then we see, is there growing interest or demand for the thing I want to offer? And then combining the two of those is where that goes into your business plan. Okay, so again, this is a free approach to doing this, so it's not going to be like a guarantee. You're not, again, a professional at doing this specific thing. But this, I can assure you, this exact thing I just demonstrated for you, put that into words, grab screenshots, grab your competitor's logo and a copy of their review if they have a bad one, whatever you've identified as their weakness, put that in your business plan. That's a whole lot more tangible research than anybody ever shows in their business plan. And that shows to a lender that, okay, you're not just saying like, yeah, I'm going to be successful. There's room in the market. You're demonstrating, you're showing like there's a growing demand for this. We surveyed 150 people. They all said they would love for there to be a spa that does X, Y, and Z. So that's an example of tangible demonstration that there's in fact room in the market. Okay, so that's key point. That's one way to make your business plan shine. Let's go down to key point number 2. This is taking, again, for context, this is happening in the marketing section. Very similar concept, but we want to demonstrate more than just saying, so if the marketing section is about acquiring customers, how are you going to get people to show up at your spa in this case, or, come to your website or whatever your business is? It's one thing to say, we're going to do all these things and hopefully people show up. It's another thing to show an actual tangible demonstration of, or example of traction. So traction is a very tech phrase. It's a concept of like, is your app, is your software getting traction? Are people testing it? Are people using it? Are people excited about it releasing? And so the two best examples of demonstrating this or of traction are pre-launch revenue. So you actually get people to pay you to do what you're going to do before you even officially open the business. Or two, names on a list. People are interested in what you're doing and they can't wait for you to open. So let's look at some of the spa free examples. Okay, so launch a pre-online campaign, generating some initial buzz. Maybe you offer them a discount. One that I've seen people do that I think is really clever is like a founders club. So you build some buzz about whatever you're opening or whatever you're starting. And if people sign up, they get a promo code or like a discount for like the first year, as long as they come in and they use that discount once a month for the first year or something like that. And they get their name on the wall or whatever. Like you can have fun with that, get people to sign up on that list. And then this one is music to a lender's ear. This isn't super applicable in every industry, but I'm going to mention it to you anyways. And that is, can you start on the side before you launch the business? Can you start generating some income? Can you get your concept proven? Can you build a client base before you officially launch, right? You could be a baker. Before you launch the full-scale bakery, maybe on the weekends, you sell baked goods. You make cakes for people. And that might just be friends and family initially, and then they refer to a few people and you've got some people that like that and they continue to reorder. So before you know it, you can put in your business plan, I have sold baked goods, custom ordered baked goods for 117 people, generating $23,000. And, over 60% of those clients have ordered more than one time. If you can say that in your business plan, it doesn't matter if you're a startup because you're not actually a startup. You've proven that you know how to do this. You're good at doing it. And in addition to all of that I just said, it proves to your lender that you hustle and that you have grit. And, that is a sign of commitment to your lender, that you're serious about this. You're going to do what it takes to do that. So whatever that example looks like for you, you need to think about that's a test of your commitment. Or what are you willing to do before you officially launch this thing if it means setting you up for success? Can you do it on the side? Can you moonlight? Can you do something? Can you get uncomfortable and go out in your community and ask people for feedback? So as I mentioned, pre-launch revenue is a great example. It doesn't matter if it's only $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. That's still important. Or can you get names on a list? People that whatever way you are getting them to sign up is actually a high degree of likelihood that they might actually come to your business. Put that number, we've got a list of 317 people that indicated X, Y, and Z, and put that in your business plan. Okay. That's key point number 2. Moving on. Key point number 3. This one's a little bit easier than the first two. So you can breathe a deep sigh of relief, but that is demonstrating your relevant industry experience. So if you are going to open a spa, okay, a very easy red flag to a lender is if they don't think you know what you're getting yourself into and that you don't know what you're doing. Okay, so we want to, at all costs, avoid that thought ever coming into their mind. And the best way to do that is to go out of their way to demonstrate that you know what you're doing. So just like at the beginning of this video when I said, I'm going to talk to you about how to make your business plan lender ready, and then I said I was an SBA lender for 7 years, that hopefully proved to you right there in that moment, especially if you're still watching, that I might know what I'm talking about. Okay, maybe you believe me, maybe you don't believe me, but that is my demonstration of doing that. If I never told you that, you might be like, well, what is this guy? Why does he feel like he knows what he's talking about? Or if I told you like, hi, my name is Kyle and I'm a professional dog walker, and now I'm going to tell you how to write a perfect SBA plan. You're gonna be like, no, thank you. Okay, it's the exact same concept with an SBA lender. They're not gonna know how prepared you are if you don't tell them, or if you have seemingly unrelated experience and you didn't connect those dots for them, they're gonna be concerned. So let's go through with the example of you're going to start a business in an industry that you haven't done that before. So let's say you're opening a spa, but you were a marketing executive, or you have a lot of experience in marketing. What you want to do is say, hi, I'm Kyle, and I have 13 years of experience working in marketing, and I bring a strong ability to do sales and build an aesthetic experience, right? Talk about the strengths that you have. I've experienced managing a team of 6 people. Talk about those transferable skills, because just because your career isn't related doesn't mean you don't know how to do some things. Okay, so that's part 1 of that. Part 2 is you need to supplement your experience. So it's true, just because I came from a marketing background doesn't mean that I'm qualified to open and run a spa. I can still talk to them about like what I'm actually good at, but it's not about lying to them and convincing them otherwise. We still need to prove to them that we know what we're getting ourselves into. And once we get into it, we know what we're doing. The best way to do that is by adding a partner that has experience in the spa industry, or nailing down a key employee. So maybe, in this one, we've got, this talks about 2 different people, but you can see like Lee Tanaka, an operational manager of a spa, right? So if you can say, this is my experience and the skills that I will bring to the table that will be very valuable in the management and the growth of the business, but we're going to have, this person who is a seasoned spa manager, that starts to like, calm those fears or avoid those fears from a lender not knowing what you're getting yourself into. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have all of the experience necessary, that you've done this before, talk about that. Make sure they're clear that I've managed or I've owned a spa before. Here's why it worked or didn't work, or whatever you need to go into detail. Just one way or another, don't be shy about talking about that experience and going overkill there. Okay, moving forward to point 4 is about financial projections. As I mentioned, we're Projection Hub. Our specialty is financial projections. It's the most important part of your business plan. Speaking as a lender, arguably the most important part of your loan application. And key point 4 isn't to have financial projections. You have to have financial projections. Key point number 4 is to have realistic financial projections. Are they realistic, and are they within like industry norms? And to give you an example of that, this is our spa financial projection template. So we have one of these, as a quick plug, we have one of these for over 100 different industries. I think closing in on 150 industries, where it's built specifically for each industry. This is the startup video, so probably not interested in the existing business and the acquisition one. But for any industry, you can grab one. So what we're looking at now is the spa financial projection template. All we're doing is entering information on these blue tabs, and we're only editing the blue boxes on this tab. So we're just outlining our services. So before you get overwhelmed with the whole spreadsheet, just look at the type of information we're putting in. You know these numbers, you're familiar with these numbers, okay? And so it's not overwhelming. We're only punching in these blue boxes, your monthly operating expenses, right? So it's pre-filled in with some stuff to help you. Again, we have this for a variety of industries, geared towards those industries. And then if you have salaried employees, they'll go in here. And then the template does the rest. It will generate all of these financial statements and the different things you need for that. My point is, so let's say you've created financial projections, you used our template. I just used our spa template to make my spa financial projection templates. This is littered with KPIs or key numbers, key financial numbers for my industry. And so all you're gonna do is just go out and Google or look for what are the typical averages for that. So you could, one way you could do it is just, I'll even give you an example here. I think I did this recently. I did it for a co-working space. I was giving it an example. So let's do the same thing so this is, if you're comfortable with ChatGPT, this is one way to do it, right? So I'll say spa. Also, I could go to Google and say, what is a typical net profit margin for a spa? Okay, so this one's gonna be one number at a time. You might find a blog post that lists a bunch, but Google says 10 to 15%. Okay, let's go back and see what ChatGPT has to say. So 10 to 20%, right? So we are 10 to 15%, 10 to 20%, very similar range. So now I'm going to go back and check where are we at. Profit margin, net profit margin. Loss in the first year, that's very common to lose money in the first year. 2%, 7%, 10%, 15%, right? So we're conservative. That's great. Lenders love conservative. I'm not saying we're going to have 40% profitability. That would raise the eyebrow of a lender. You can do that exercise for any number in your projections. You know, the more specific you get, the harder it might be to find a specific number. Like total number of clients might be hard because it's based on a lot of factors like where you're at, how big your spa, how many people are you gonna have working, all that kind of stuff. But especially these types of numbers, like what percentage of sales should your operating expenses or your overhead be? And you can just kind of match those to yours. That is what's going to, so use something like our template, fill it out with the numbers you have in your head to the best of your ability, and then just start benchmarking that with the information you can research like that. And it's gonna ensure that it's bringing it into a realistic point. Your financial projections for a startup loan request are like the most important first impression. If those numbers are like way out in left field or don't make any sense or confusing, that's a red flag, and that's hard to come back from that with a lender, because you're not gonna be like, okay, just kidding, let me go and change all those and then come back and they're completely different. So you want to get that right the first time. So that's key point number 4. Also, I've linked this down below. I think we probably have a link down there too to get a promo code to get a discount on any one of those templates. And we've got one more key point, and this one is less about putting it in your business plan and more about being prepared for the loan application process if you're planning to get funding. And that is to be prepared for the skin in the game conversation. And basically what that means is just like if you were buying a house, so let's say you're gonna buy a $100,000 house, which doesn't exist anymore, I'm aware. But you're gonna go to the bank and say, I want $100,000 for my house. They're gonna say, okay, great, we'll give you a loan for $80,000. And then you've gotta pay the other $20,000, right? Maybe more or less in that percentage, but the example still stands. You're gonna have to put in some money. And then they're gonna give you the loan, but they're gonna hold the deed to the house. If you default and you fail to pay that loan, they're going to not only keep your down payment or your deposit, they're also going to take the house and they're going to sell that because that's their collateral. Same concept exists for getting a loan. Let's say you need $100,000 to start your business. The bank is going to say, we'll give you 80% of that. We'll give you $80,000. You say, okay, great. So you're going to have to come up with that $10,000 to $20,000. And then you're also going to be guaranteeing that loan. So anyone that has ever told you the advice, you know, put the loan in the business's name, not the person's name, I'm sorry, that's just not how it works. You will be personally guaranteeing the loan. So if the business can't pay back the loan, you will be on the hook for it personally. They're going to need collateral. They're going to want as much collateral as they can get. If you're buying a building for your startup, that's probably going to be most of your collateral right there. They're also going to use all the equipment inside of it. If your business doesn't have a lot of collateral, they're going to ask for personal collateral. So that could be like a second mortgage on a house, a free and clear car. They might ask for a co-signer on the loan. So I'm not saying all this to scare you or to say that you have to just give everything away. What I'm telling you is expect that that's coming and be prepared to know what you're willing to offer and what you're willing to compromise on. So if you do know of someone who could be a good co-signer, for example, have that conversation ahead of time. Find that person, ask that person. So when it comes time, and you don't have to tell the lender that you have a co-signer, but when it comes to that time and they say, hey, I think we're going to need a co-signer, then you can say, great, I've already got one lined up. And that will keep things moving. That will impress your lender. Same thing with like, are you comfortable with putting a second mortgage on your house to be collateral? If not, you don't have to say that up front, but wait till they ask and say, sorry, that's a deal breaker. I'm not going to do that. Or yes, I've already decided this is how much equity is in the home. We're comfortable with doing that. So just be prepared to have that conversation and just know that's coming. So that's key point number 5 is don't change your business plan, including that. Don't say all that information. Just, keep those cards close to the chest. But knowing all of that and being prepared for all of that will help that process go much smoother and much quicker. So there you have it. That's the 5 key points to make your startup business plan shine, to go from 0 to hero, good to great. And I hope that you made it this far in the video. And if so, give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And comment down below or email us at support@projectionhub.com If you have any questions for us, we'd be happy to help. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.